Good afternoon and welcome to the December 17th, 2025 Technical Review Committee meeting. My name is Anna Barge and I'm the Senior Planner with Oldham County Planning and Development. The purpose of this meeting is to review proposed subdivisions, zoning map amendments, and development plans before they go to Planning Commission if required to. This gives local agencies and utility companies that will provide services the opportunity to review plans, discuss and comment about the accessibility of services, and ensure all aspects of the development plans adhere to zoning and subdivision regulations. This meeting also provides adjoining property owners and concerned citizens in attendance the opportunity to ask technical questions of the applicants or agencies represented before you. We will allow a combined 20 minutes of time for these comments. No testimony in favor or against an application will be taken at this meeting, and no decisions are made at this meeting. Keep in mind this meeting is being live streamed on YouTube, and the recorded meeting will be posted to the Oldham County Fiscal Court Facebook page and the Oldham County Fiscal Court YouTube page. If you need to have a conversation among people around you or on your phone, please leave the courtroom and return when finished. And please check your phone to ensure that it's silenced to reduce interruptions. I'm going to do that myself. So we have one item on the docket today. The first docket is TRC-25-021 7 Brew, or the only docket. One note before we ask the first applicant to come up: to all applicants, when providing your plans with your application, you already did this, please provide folded plans. I guess I can take that off for next time. Anyway, applicant, at this time, we ask the applicant or the representative to come forward and give a brief overview of the application, and if you can provide your name and address for the record, please.
Wow, a little shocking. Thank you, Anna. Brian Evans, I represent Brew Team Kentucky, LLC. Address is 1686 Victory Court, Prospect. Okay, sorry. Do I need to redo that? Okay, Brian Evans, I represent Brew Team Kentucky, 1686 Victory Court, Prospect, Kentucky. Thank you for your time today. I'll keep my presentation brief and really just here to answer any questions. Give you a brief overview of 7 Brew in case you're not familiar with it. We've got several around the Louisville area. 7 Brew started back in Arkansas in 2017 and has been on a pretty rapid growth spurt. I think corporately we're somewhere over 550 stores. Our group is the largest franchisee with 7 Brew. We just opened our 137th location this week. So we opened 62 stores this year in 14 states. So we've got the Kentucky territory. We've got probably 20 stores open or under construction in Kentucky right now. So excited about the opportunity in LaGrange. All of our stores are prototype stores. So if you go to 7 Brew in Hazard or Louisville or Ohio or New York, it's going to be the same concept. It's a 510 square foot prefabricated building. All of them operate as dual drive-throughs. There are a couple that have actually 3 drive-through lanes, but the standard is a dual drive-through. So we don't serve food. It's drinks only. Coffee, teas, milkshakes, energy drinks, smoothies, etc. So that lack of food allows us to get people through the drive-thru pretty quickly. So we strive from when you make your order to when you get your drink to keep it under 3 minutes. The dual drive-thru lane also helps us keep the cars flowing. So our motto is kind of, if Chick-fil-A and Starbucks had a baby, it would be a 7 Brew. Chick-fil-A in kind of the culture and the way that orders are taken. So we're not like a traditional drive-thru. There's no speaker box and menu board. When you come into the drive-thru, you can pick which lane you want to go in, and then you're actually going to be greeted at your vehicle by, we call them texters. Basically, somebody's going to come out, they're going to have an iPad, they're going to take your order personally at your vehicle. They'll kind of be, depending on how much traffic we have, they'll be maybe 3 or 4 cars back in line taking orders, and then you'll pull under a canopy and a second employee will bring your drink out to you. So we're open 7 days a week. We open at 5:30 a.m. And we are open till 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, we're open an extra hour to 11. So we basically run kind of 3 shifts of employees. So the typical stand will employ between 60 and 70 people. I'll pause there, see if you have any questions about kind of operations and how 7 Brew functions. Otherwise, I can go through the site layout if you'd like me to, or just answer any questions you might have.
Do any of y'all have any questions, or would you like him to go over the site layout? No? Okay. Well, if you're good with that, we'll move on to agency comments. And we'll start with me. So the following comments apply to the Oldham County Planning and Development review of the plans dated November 18th, 2025 for the 7 Brew project submitted for the TRC review. Number 1, and I'll give you a copy of this, by the way. Number 1, add boundary lines for all parcels. 2, add the location and purpose of easements. I believe there's an easement through the Walgreens parking lot. Additionally, clarify the dotted lines to the north of Walgreens. 3, add 5-foot contour lines. 4, add notation of stormwater flow on the plan. 5, add location and ownership of all adjoining property owners. 6, a landscaping and lighting plan will be required. Please verify that you meet all the requirements for abutting residential properties. And also note, we will consider that retaining wall as screening or buffering. So when you have to have buffering to a certain height, we do consider that wall a buffer. And then 7, are the project footprint and the total acreage the same number? Please clarify on the plan. 8, add the lot coverage to the site statistics. 9, the parking spaces are more than what's allowed. The maximum parking spaces allowed for coffee shops are 1 space per 100 square feet of gross floor area. A waiver will be required to go through Planning Commission before a site plan can be reviewed if you keep those that number of parking spots. And then lastly, the sign permitting process will go through the city of LaGrange because that's in the city limits and they do their own signs. So that's my comments, and I'll give you the copies once we get through everyone's. Corey Rusnak from the city of LaGrange, he said that the proposed 7 Brew Coffee is located in the city of LaGrange. However, the proposed plan does not encroach onto a city street. Therefore, I have no further comments. I didn't give you a copy of that one because it was kind of nothing. And then from Jason Richardson from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, he said, our comments are as follows. 1, additional right-of-way may be required across the frontage of this tract to meet the current land development code. The requirements are determined by the Transportation, Planning, and Public Works Departments. Calculations will be required for any runoff deemed necessary to be taken to the state right-of-way. Proposals to alter or significantly increase a drainage area or runoff factors or to change in any way the performance of an existing drainage structure shall be accompanied by a complete drainage survey and hydrological analysis based on the 25-year and 100-year storms. This analysis shall include a comparison of existing and proposed conditions. Requests to alter the drainage on a right-of-way shall result in conditions that are equal to or better than the existing facilities. That one and the first one are pretty standard. And the next one as well. There shall be no commercial signs on the right-of-way. 4, there shall be no landscaping in the right-of-way without an encroachment permit. Tree species planted in the right-of-way shall conform with District 5 list of approved trees. Site lighting shall not shine in the eyes of drivers. If it does, it shall be re-aimed, shielded, or turned off. 6, drainage structures within the state right-of-way shall be state design. 7, there shall be no parking or any portion of parking lot in the state right-of-way. 8, all new and existing sidewalks shall be either brought up to or built to ADA current standards. 9, so I believe all 8 of those were standard, and then these are the 2 that are specific. 9, the direct access to KY 53 shall be restricted to the right in and right out via barrier median. Left turns across dedicated left turn lanes are no longer allowed. And 10, KYTC is okay with the concept of the landscaping plan with the exception of comments in this review. This is just a preliminary okay. KYTC will review again or if or when construction plans are submitted and reserve the right to change or qualify the approval when construction plans are submitted for review. And then that was all of his comments. And then Scott Treese wanted to be here today from LaGrange Utilities, but he is under the weather. So he sent his comments. Water and sewer plans need to be submitted to LaGrange Utilities for review, since there are several easements with existing infrastructure on the property. Plans need to show elevation cuts over any existing LaGrange utility lines. Depths need to be verified to make sure they maintain the minimum required coverage. So those are the comments that I either had or received. So I'll go ahead and give those to you. And then next we will go to Matt Toller from GIS.
So the address of this property is 809,
809.
and it's South First Avenue. 53 doesn't start until after, like, the Kroger. But that's my only comment.
Okay. Thank you.
Jim Silman, County Engineer's Office.
So, and I think you've got my comments in your package, but to review those real quick, since the land disturbance area, the project footprint is just over an acre, will be required to obtain a stormwater quality management and erosion control permit from my office and the KYR 10 permit from the Division of Water. Jason mentioned his comments, so I'll leave out the KYTC comments, other than we had coordination with, I believe, the engineer for your project regarding traffic trip generation, and it was real close to the limit for needing a traffic impact study. However, after Jason reviewed it further, he did send an email stating that it wouldn't require a traffic impact study for the state, so it only requires the traffic assessment as required by the Oldham County subdivision regulations, which has been provided, and I didn't see any reason to revise that impact study. I wasn't aware of Jason's requirement for the, I guess I'll have to put a pork chop island or something in that entrance to make it a right in, right out. So we'll note that too. Along with the stormwater quality permits and the KYR 10, since it's over an acre, our construction site runoff and post-construction stormwater ordinances apply. I do see you've got the proposed underground detention basin shown. So for our calculations, you have to, or our requirements, you have to show calculations that the 2, 10, and 100-year storm are contained. And then, as Jason mentioned, the state requires the 25-year storm for any water coming towards the highway. That'll also need to be encompassed by a detention easement, and that'll be recorded with the clerk's office. And we also have a standard stormwater maintenance agreement that'll be recorded with that. Other than that, I've got some comments in the letter about turning geometry and emergency vehicle access. I don't need to go over those. It's in there. So that's all.
Oh, Matt has
And
one more
it's
thing.
first spelled out.
First spelled out.
F-I-R-S-T.
Okay, now on to Keith Smith from the fire department.
Hi.
Hello.
I believe you said the building is pre-built?
Yes, sir. It's
About 500 or
prefabricated. We've gone through the KIBS approval process, and then we'll go back for the KIBS site placement approval as well.
Okay. Question, will the property have any type of a smoke detection, fire protection system in it that is monitored?
No, sir.
Okay. The only questions I had. Thank you.
Helps when my mic is on. So that's all the agency comments. Now on to public comment. If anyone in the audience would like to come forward and ask questions that are technical in nature, please state your name and address at the podium, and please make sure you speak into the microphone so everyone can hear you, including people online. Do we have anybody that would like to come forward? Okay. And please make sure you state your name and address.
Charles Cardwell. I live at 1405 Grange Drive. My property backs up to the property. I think we got a letter in the mail about it. What we're curious about is there's a fence, a wood fence at the top of that berm that runs behind all the properties right there that's falling over. We've actually got it propped up with woods, and we think that's on their property side, not ours. So we're wanting to see if we can either get that fixed or get it torn down, something.
I'm not really sure what the steps are because that's kind of a civil thing. So I don't know as far as like with the surveying, whose property,
Okay.
I don't believe they're the property owners, I believe they're leasing the property. So you can reach out, you can communicate with him after this and
Okay.
see if y'all can figure out something with the actual property owners and hopefully get that resolved efficiently.
Okay, thanks.
Because I think that's for the best interest of both sides.
All right.
Thanks. Anyone else like to come up and speak? Okay, if not, we will go ahead and close. If you receive notice of today's meeting, if they decide to apply for a waiver for that parking, you will receive notice for that as well for planning. Oh, he's shaking his head that they're not going to, so they're going to just follow our standards. So I don't believe they will be going through any more public hearing processes. So, but yeah, our meeting is adjourned at 1:16 p.m. Thank you, everybody.